Have you ever felt overlooked, as if the people around you pressed a button to make you invisible just when you needed support the most? Welcome to the Wisdom of the Ages, a place where we explore Stoic wisdom and timeless strategies for personal growth. If you find this topic meaningful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to join our growing community. You're there, giving your all, yet others seem blind to your efforts. Have you ever wondered why this happens? The answer may lie in shifting your perspective. Instead of begging for attention, learn to handle the situation like a true master of Stoic philosophy. If someone doesn't value what you do, you don't need to wait for their approval. In the end, the true power lies in recognizing that you determine your worth. The first step toward this change is learning to care for yourself. Set clear boundaries and stop seeking validation from those unwilling to give it. Often, we spend too much time and energy trying to gain recognition from people who don't see our value. But when you start prioritizing yourself, you'll notice how things begin to shift in your favor. Are you ready to stop being invisible? Before we continue, let me share a story that perfectly illustrates this lesson. In a small artisan town lived a man named Martin, renowned for his extraordinary skill in repairing watches. His hands were so precise and his ears so finely tuned that he could detect the slightest flaw in any mechanism. For years, people came to him with broken watches, trusting his talent to bring them back to life. One day, a woman named Elena entered Martin's workshop with an antique pocket watch. It was a beautiful but severely damaged piece, and with kind words, Elena explained that it was a treasured family heirloom. Touched by her story, Martin spent days meticulously disassembling, cleaning, and adjusting each gear. When he finally returned the watch to her, gleaming and working like new, Elena thanked him with a warm smile. Over time, however, Elena's visits became more frequent. She brought more watches, some in worse condition than others. Though Martin continued to work with the same dedication, he noticed a change. Elena had stopped expressing gratitude. There were no more kind words or smiles. She simply picked up the watches and left. On one occasion, she even remarked dismissively, "Well, that's your job, isn't it?" Martin felt a pang of hurt but continued his work. Then, one day, Elena arrived with a completely shattered watch and demanded it be fixed immediately. Exhausted, Martin set the watch down on the table, took a deep breath, and said, "Elena, every watch I've repaired for you has required hours of dedication and love for my craft. But, like a watch, my work only holds value when it's appreciated. If you don't value what I do, I cannot continue repairing your watches." Elena frowned and left without a word. Though uncomfortable at first, Martin felt something new, relief. He decided to focus his talent on clients who genuinely appreciated his efforts. Before long, his workshop was filled with customers who not only admired his skill but also expressed gratitude and respect for his work. This story reminds us of an important truth: our worth isn't determined by others' recognition but by the value we place on ourselves. By prioritizing those who respect and cherish your contributions, you can shift your energy toward what truly matters. The lesson here? Sometimes, the key to being seen isn't shouting louder but knowing when to step away and focus on what, and who, deserves your time and effort. The moral of this story is clear: our effort, like a finely tuned watch, deserves recognition. If someone fails to value what we do, it's time to redirect our energy toward those who do. Respecting ourselves is just as vital as the work we perform. Now that we understand the importance of valuing our time and energy, let's dive deeper into another essential aspect: self-care. Too often, we feel as if our actions go unnoticed, like there's an invisible ignore button people press arbitrarily. And then comes the inevitable question: why do we allow others to determine our worth? The answer, while it may seem complicated, is surprisingly simple. It begins with self-care. If you don't value yourself, how can you expect others to? Imagine your life as a plant. To grow strong and healthy, it needs water, sunlight, and consistent attention. But if you neglect it or poison it, what happens? The same applies to you when you deprioritize your needs or ignore your well-being. Self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Don't misunderstand this. Self-care doesn't mean weekly spa trips or splurging on expensive products. It's much deeper than that. It's about knowing when to say no without guilt, about setting boundaries, not just with others but with yourself. When you constantly neglect your own needs, you end up feeling drained, sad, and even resentful. Often, you don't even realize it until it's too late. Self-care is like taking a breath of fresh air after being trapped in a stuffy room. It recharges you, provides clarity, and, most importantly, reconnects you with yourself. And when you're in harmony with yourself, others around you notice it too. It's not magic, it's simply aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions. What happens, then, when someone doesn't value you? We've all been in that situation, waiting for a smile, a gesture, or a kind word that never comes. But what if, instead of waiting for external validation, you began to give yourself that approval? The Stoics understood this perfectly. To them, personal value didn't rely on external factors but on how you managed your thoughts and emotions. If you spend your life worrying about what others think, you're handing them control over your emotions. The truth is, you deserve much more than that. When someone doesn't value you, the key lies in learning to set boundaries. This doesn't mean rejecting others but rather having the strength to say no when something isn't good for you. Protecting your time and energy without guilt is incredibly freeing. Just as Martin learned to prioritize clients who appreciated his craft, you must also learn to focus on those who genuinely value your presence and contributions. Redirect your energy toward people and activities that nurture you, rather than depleting you. By doing so, you're not only asserting your worth but also creating a life centered around respect, balance, and fulfillment. As we move into the next phase of this journey, remember, your worth isn't determined by others. It's defined by how you treat yourself and the boundaries you establish to protect your peace. Taking care of yourself is the foundation for building healthy relationships with yourself and others. Don't let external noise dictate your value. Take time to know yourself, care for yourself, and prioritize yourself. As Epictetus wisely said, the first step to earning others' respect is learning to respect yourself first. If this reflection resonates with you, leave a comment sharing how you practice self-care in your life. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to receive more inspiring content that helps you grow and value yourself. Thank you for being here. Now that we've explored the importance of self-care and valuing your time and energy, let's dive into another critical topic: respect. Often, we find ourselves desperately wanting others to respect us, seeking their validation as if our self-esteem depended on it. But what if I told you that respect isn't something you ask for, it's something you earn? Imagine begging for respect is like asking the wind to stop blowing. The response will always be the same: nothing. True respect doesn't come from grand speeches or declarations, nor from trying to impress others with extravagant gestures. Instead, respect is earned through actions, through how we behave and present ourselves to the world. Think of a tree standing tall in the middle of a forest. Trees don't demand respect, they simply grow, strengthen, and anchor their roots deeply into the earth. Their presence, height, and stability naturally inspire respect. In contrast, a tree that constantly shouts, "Look at me," might grab attention but never respect. The same applies to people. The most admired individuals are those who, without effort, are simply authentic, steady, and grounded. One of the most effective ways to earn respect is to stop trying to be someone you're not. Authenticity holds immense power. When you stop trying to fit into someone else's mold and show yourself as you truly are, with your strengths and imperfections, people start respecting you much more. Depending on external validation only weakens your position. By being genuine, you automatically inspire trust and admiration. Respect also begins with yourself and extends to how you treat others. If you want to be respected, start by showing respect to the people around you. This doesn't mean placing yourself on a pedestal but treating others with dignity, without judgment or criticism. When you act this way, you create an atmosphere of trust and reciprocity that fosters mutual respect. True respect doesn't need to be demanded. It grows naturally when you align your actions with your values and treat yourself and others with the dignity they deserve. As you reflect on this, ask yourself, am I giving and receiving respect in the way I should? Let your authenticity be your strongest asset as you navigate relationships and continue your journey of self-discovery and growth. By maintaining this foundation of self-respect and extending it outward, you create a life rooted in genuine connections and mutual understanding. Let this mindset guide you as you continue to embrace self-care and redefine how you approach respect in 2025 and beyond. Respect is not something you beg for, it's something you earn through your actions and how you manage your time and energy. As we've already seen, respect begins with self-care and prioritizing what truly matters. Now, let's delve into another vital aspect of respect: silence. As Seneca wisely said, "He who respects himself does not need to ask for respect. It is given without being requested." Sometimes, the most powerful way to command respect is through silence. In a world full of competing opinions and voices, silence can become your greatest ally. It's not a sign of weakness or indifference. Rather, it's a declaration that your time, attention, and energy are valuable and should be protected. Imagine yourself as a hidden treasure. The less accessible you are, the more valuable you become to others. Think of it this way: if you owned a store and allowed anyone to come in, waste your time with endless questions or complaints, and then leave without appreciating your offerings, you'd quickly become drained. On the other hand, if you set boundaries and make your availability exclusive to those who genuinely value what you provide, others will begin to recognize your worth. This concept of scarcity teaches us that what is not always available becomes more desirable. Silence doesn't mean ignoring others or refusing to engage. Instead, it's about being deliberate with your interactions, choosing to invest your energy where it truly matters. By practicing silence, you signal to the world that your presence is intentional and meaningful. In this way, silence can also serve as a mirror. When you withhold unnecessary commentary or reactions, you allow others to reflect on their own behavior. You don't need to announce your boundaries loudly; your actions speak for themselves. People will start to notice the power in your calm demeanor and the value in your presence. The next time you feel the urge to demand respect, remember, silence can be louder than words. Focus on maintaining your authenticity, acting with integrity, and preserving your time and energy. You'll find that respect will come naturally, without needing to plead for it. If this message resonates with you, share in the comments how you practice respect and use silence as a tool in your daily life. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to continue learning about strategies for personal growth and building authentic, meaningful relationships. Thank you for being part of our journey. Let this reflection guide you in 2025 and beyond. Respect isn't about saying more, it's about doing more, valuing yourself, and letting your actions align with your principles. Silence, used wisely, can be one of the most powerful tools to communicate your self-worth and earn the respect you deserve. The Stoics deeply understood this principle. For them, anything given without effort loses its value. Similarly, if your presence is always guaranteed, it begins to lose its weight. Silence is not an absence of communication but a strategic way to give more significance to your words and actions. The key lies in how you choose to apply it. This isn't about disappearing entirely or playing mysterious, it's about making deliberate decisions about when and how you're available. For example, stop responding to every message or request immediately. Take a pause, a moment between interaction and response. This not only gives you time to reflect but also teaches others to respect your space. Additionally, set clear boundaries. People tend to value what isn't immediately accessible. By creating some distance, you spark curiosity and appreciation. It's a delicate balance, not too close, not too far. What you need to master is the art of absence. Knowing when to step forward and when to step back not only enhances your value but also helps you stay centered on yourself. As the Stoics taught, true strength lies in knowing when to stand firm and when to withdraw. If you ever feel that others are undervaluing you, try being less available. You'll realize that it's not about what you offer but about what others are willing to recognize in you. Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic thinker, said, "He who steps back shows he knows his worth." Sometimes, stepping away is not a retreat but a way of reminding yourself, and others, that your time and energy are invaluable. If this reflection resonates with you, share in the comments how you practice the art of silence and strategic absence in your daily life. We'd love to hear your experiences. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to continue exploring topics that inspire and strengthen you. Thank you for joining us on this journey of self-discovery and growth. Having discussed respect, the power of silence, and the art of strategic withdrawal, it's now time to tackle a crucial topic: setting boundaries. Too often, we mistakenly believe that our patience is infinite. The reality, however, is that everyone has limits. Yet, we frequently allow others to push those limits, treating us as though we're an endless well of patience. But what happens when that well finally runs dry? The result isn't pretty. We erupt, and often not in the most constructive way. This is why establishing clear boundaries is essential, not just for your well-being but also for maintaining healthy, fair, and balanced relationships. Imagine your life as a garden. Without a fence to protect your plants, animals can wander in and wreak havoc. The same is true for your relationships. Without clear boundaries, people can encroach on your emotional, physical, or even temporal space, often without your realizing it until it's too late. Boundaries are often misunderstood as selfish barriers, but in reality, they are a way to protect yourself. Saying "this is my limit" doesn't mean being rude or rejecting others. It's about taking control of your life. If someone doesn't value you, why keep being their emotional punching bag? When you start setting boundaries, something interesting happens. Relationships become more honest. No one has to guess how far they can go, and you don't have to suffer in silence. If something bothers you, say it. If something doesn't feel right, express it. A simple, well-delivered no can radically change the dynamic of any relationship. At first, some people might see you as selfish or difficult, but let's be honest, would you rather that or continue being everyone's doormat? Being clear and direct doesn't mean being harsh. A simple "I'm not comfortable with this" is enough. Be honest and straightforward without feeling the need to give lengthy explanations. Setting boundaries also means recognizing your own value. Your time, energy, and mental peace are as important as anyone else's. If you constantly give in, people will stop respecting you. People tend to take for granted what you allow, so it's essential to make it clear that there are consequences if your boundaries are crossed. This isn't about being vindictive, it's about being firm and protecting what's yours. Moreover, setting boundaries goes hand in hand with self-care. Although it might sound like a cliché, taking care of yourself is essential. If you don't take your needs seriously, others won't either. Make sure to take regular breaks to recharge. Stoic philosophy teaches us to accept what we cannot control, but it also encourages us to act on what we can, our boundaries. You are not an endless well of patience or a walking yes for everyone. Your time and well-being matter. If someone doesn't value you, it's time to make it clear. Don't let anyone turn you into their emotional relief tool. When you establish boundaries, relationships change. They stop being a burden and become a true source of mutual support. Carl Jung once said, "Boundaries are not barriers, they are an invitation to respect." The Stoics understood this as well. Peace of mind is not found outside of you but within. Sometimes, saying no is the greatest act of self-love you can do. If this reflection has inspired you, share in the comments how you set boundaries in your daily life. We'd love to hear your experience. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and continue exploring with us topics that strengthen your well-being and relationships. Thank you for being part of this community. Indifference to others' opinions is a powerful tool for protecting your inner peace. We've discussed setting boundaries and valuing your time and energy. Now, it's time to take this understanding to the next level. Often, we give undue weight to what others think, as if their validation is the fuel that keeps our emotional engine running. But what if I told you that this dependence is entirely optional, and entirely within your control to break free from? The Stoics, those ancient philosophers with timeless wisdom, believed that what others think of you is their concern, not yours. Their opinions are like passing winds, ever-changing, momentary, and powerless unless you allow them to shape you. The only opinions that matter are your own, rooted in your values and your sense of self. Criticism from others, when seen through this lens, says far more about them than it does about you. To embrace this stoic indifference, the first step is to eliminate the should from your vocabulary. How often have you told yourself you should be different, act differently, or meet someone else's expectations to fit in? These shoulds are nothing more than chains tying you to external standards, often unrealistic and rarely fulfilling. Freeing yourself from these constraints allows you to live authentically, staying true to your values and inner peace. Reflect on what truly matters. Is it your well-being or the fleeting opinions of others? Fixating on external validation hands over the control of your life to people who may not even know you well. This is not just unwise, it's irrational. Your peace of mind is yours to guard. No one has the right to take it away unless you let them. Imagine yourself as a dolphin gliding smoothly through the water. Criticism and negative comments are like droplets. They touch your surface but slide off, leaving you unbothered and free. The art of indifference transforms those opinions into background noise, as irrelevant as distant rain when you're cozy indoors. A practical way to strengthen this indifference is to practice detachment. When someone doesn't value you or offers unwarranted criticism, resist the urge to analyze or fix the situation. Acceptance is key. Sometimes, people fail to see your worth, and that's okay. Their oversight is not a reflection of your value but a limitation of their perspective. Letting go of the need for their approval frees you from unnecessary emotional burdens. Remember, you are the author of your narrative. Others may offer commentary, but they don't get to write your story. Living under the weight of external validation is like carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones you never needed. At any moment, you can choose to set it down. So, the next time someone's words or opinions rub you the wrong way, remind yourself, you are the dolphin, and their words are just water. Let them slide off and keep swimming forward. As Brian Tracy wisely put it, what others think of you is a broken mirror, don't see your reflection in it. If this message resonates with you, share in the comments how you've practiced indifference to opinions in your life. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and join us in exploring ideas that inspire and strengthen your inner self. Thank you for being part of this community. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean isolating from others, it means cultivating the best version of yourself so you can naturally attract those who value you. We've explored the art of indifference, setting boundaries, and embracing self-worth. Now, let's connect it all to the process of continual growth and evolution. This is where the real magic happens, when you stop chasing validation and start investing in yourself. The Stoics believed that our energy should be directed toward what we can control, our actions, thoughts, and decisions, not external validation. When someone fails to recognize your worth, it's not a reflection of your value but of their inability to see it. This isn't a reason to despair but an opportunity to focus inward and strengthen your foundation. Imagine yourself as a tree. If you spend your days comparing your height or branches to those around you, you'll never flourish. But when you concentrate on nourishing your roots, growing steadily and authentically, you become a beacon of strength and vitality. Those who truly appreciate your value will naturally be drawn to your shade. Emotional awareness is key in this journey. When faced with rejection or disregard, resist the urge to react impulsively. Instead, pause, breathe, and reflect. Calmness and composure not only protect your peace but also demonstrate your inner strength. By choosing how you respond, you reclaim power over your emotions and actions. Surrounding yourself with the right people is equally important. Seek relationships that inspire, uplift, and nurture you. Let go of connections that drain your energy or stifle your growth. Just as a garden thrives when tended with care, your life flourishes when filled with supportive, positive relationships. Growth is not a passive experience but a dynamic process. As you invest in your well-being, physically, mentally, and emotionally, you'll find that you naturally attract people who value that effort. The beauty of this approach is that you won't need to seek these individuals actively. They'll be drawn to the authenticity and confidence you exude. Finally, embrace imperfection as a natural part of your evolution. Mistakes are not failures but opportunities for learning and improvement. True growth lies in resilience, the ability to adapt, learn, and continually refine yourself. Remember, it's not about being flawless but about striving to be better than you were yesterday. As you align your actions with your values and invest in your personal growth, the external validation you once sought becomes unnecessary. You'll find fulfillment within yourself, and the right people will gravitate toward you naturally. If this reflection resonates with you, share your thoughts in the comments. How do you focus on your growth and attract meaningful connections in your life? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and join us on this journey of self-discovery and continuous improvement. Thank you for being part of this inspiring community. Continuing from our previous reflection, let's connect the idea of self-worth and authentic relationships to the principle of giving without expectations. This principle doesn't mean being a martyr or allowing others to take advantage of you. It's about shifting your focus from external validation to internal fulfillment. Imagine the act of giving as a flame you share, not to receive warmth in return, but to illuminate and inspire. This mindset aligns with Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to find peace in our actions rather than in their outcomes. When you give from a place of authenticity and generosity, the act itself becomes its reward. However, practicing this principle doesn't mean neglecting yourself. Balance is key. Giving without expectations is about contributing to the world while remaining grounded in your own values and needs. It's about being generous without compromising your well-being. Now think of a garden. Some plants may flourish from the water you provide, while others may not. But the act of watering, of nurturing, has value in itself. In relationships, this means giving from a place of abundance, without attaching your worth to whether or not someone reciprocates. When you let go of the need for recognition, you liberate yourself from unnecessary disappointment. At the same time, recognize when it's time to redirect your energy. If a relationship consistently drains you without reciprocating even the basic respect or appreciation, it's okay to step back. Giving without expecting doesn't mean tolerating neglect or toxicity. As the Stoics emphasized, we can control our actions and intentions, but not how others respond. Accepting this truth is a powerful step toward emotional freedom. By practicing generosity consciously and setting healthy boundaries, you create space for deeper connections and self-respect. The relationships that truly matter are those where your giving is met with genuine appreciation, not because you demanded it, but because it flows naturally between you and the other person. Finally, remember that your worth isn't defined by how much you give or how it's received. It's inherent, rooted in your authenticity and the values you uphold. The more you align with this truth, the less you'll rely on external validation to feel fulfilled. If this perspective resonates with you, share your thoughts in the comments. How do you balance giving with maintaining your own boundaries and well-being? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and continue this journey with us as we explore deeper aspects of self-discovery and meaningful connections. Thank you for being part of this inspiring community. Continuing the theme of personal growth and resilience, it's crucial to tie the act of self-recognition and boundary setting to the broader framework of emotional independence. When you let go of the need for external validation, you unlock a deeper sense of inner peace. This shift aligns perfectly with the Stoic principle that teaches us to focus on what lies within our control and to release what does not. Let's imagine a scenario. Someone close to you doesn't appreciate your worth or contributions. Instead of internalizing their disregard, remind yourself that their inability to see your value doesn't diminish it. Just as the sun doesn't lose its brightness because someone chooses to close their eyes, your inherent worth remains constant, regardless of others' perceptions. One of the most powerful tools for fostering this mindset is setting boundaries. This doesn't mean cutting ties with everyone who challenges you, but rather ensuring your relationships are grounded in mutual respect and understanding. Boundaries are not barriers, they are bridges that connect you with others while preserving your emotional integrity. Consider your time and energy as precious resources. When you spend them on people or situations that don't align with your values, you dilute their impact. Instead, channel these resources toward endeavors and relationships that enrich your life. Remember, choosing quality over quantity in your connections often leads to deeper, more fulfilling interactions. The Stoics emphasize the importance of self-awareness and emotional control. When someone undervalues you, take a step back and assess the situation with clarity. Are their actions reflective of their limitations rather than your shortcomings? If so, release the burden of trying to change their perspective. Instead, focus on your growth and the relationships that nurture your well-being. As you practice this, you'll notice a shift in how others perceive you. Confidence and self-respect are magnetic. They naturally draw people who value and appreciate you. Moreover, by surrounding yourself with individuals who uplift you, you reinforce your belief in your own worth. To close, let's reflect on a timeless Stoic reminder. Your peace lies in your hands, not in others' opinions. By embracing this truth, you empower yourself to live authentically and purposefully, free from the weight of external validation. If this message resonates with you, share your thoughts in the comments. How do you practice self-respect and set boundaries in your life? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and join us as we continue this journey of self-discovery and personal empowerment. Thank you for being a vital part of our community. Building upon the previous discussion on self-respect and boundary setting, it's crucial to address the toxic relationships that often drain our emotional energy. These connections, much like a mirage in the desert, may promise moments of happiness but ultimately conceal manipulation and exhaustion. Freeing yourself from such ties isn't just beneficial, it's profoundly liberating. The first question to ask yourself is, does this person truly value me? Genuine value isn't about pretty words or empty promises, it's about respecting your time, emotions, and space. If someone only reaches out when they need something or uses you as their emotional dumping ground, then that relationship lacks mutual respect. As the Stoics wisely noted, we should surround ourselves with people who nurture our inner peace, not those who consume it like a black hole. Recognizing the signs of a toxic relationship is often simpler than we think, yet denial can cloud our judgment. Do you feel like you're always the one making an effort? Is the person absent when you need them most? Or worse, does every interaction leave you feeling drained rather than uplifted? If the answer is yes, it's time to take action. The first step in addressing these relationships is understanding that you don't owe anyone an explanation for prioritizing your well-being. Breaking free from toxicity doesn't require dramatic exits or lengthy justifications. It starts with prioritizing your peace. This doesn't mean being rude or unkind, but it does mean stepping away from the emotional hamster wheel of frustration. If someone doesn't value you, start by creating distance. This doesn't have to involve a grand confrontation, simply reduce the time and energy you invest in that person. Don't respond immediately to their messages or accept every invitation. These small changes send a clear message: my time is valuable, and if you don't recognize that, I won't give it freely. Toxic individuals often thrive on constant access to your energy. But as soon as you establish boundaries, you'll notice many of them naturally drifting away. And when it comes to your feelings, don't shy away from honesty. Sometimes, expressing your thoughts directly can be incredibly freeing. A simple, calm statement like, "I've realized this relationship isn't meeting my needs, and I think it's best for me to take a step back," is often enough. There's no need for drama or conflict. This process isn't about punishing others, it's about reclaiming your emotional freedom. By distancing yourself from what doesn't serve you, you create space for relationships that uplift and inspire you. The Stoics remind us that while we can't control the behavior of others, we can always control how we respond. If this message resonates with you, share your thoughts in the comments. How do you navigate toxic relationships in your life? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and join us as we explore more topics that inspire personal growth and emotional resilience. Thank you for being part of our community. We've discussed how letting go of toxic relationships is both an act of courage and self-love. Now, let's delve into a slightly unconventional but powerful concept: mastering the art of absence. It might sound counterintuitive, but sometimes, stepping back is the most effective way to highlight your value. Think about this. When you're always available, people might start to take your presence for granted. It's not that your importance diminishes, but constant availability can overshadow the significance of your presence. Imagine a rare gem. It's valuable because it's scarce, not because it's always on display. Similarly, strategically stepping away can remind others of your worth in ways that words often cannot. The Stoics emphasize balance, not only in how we live but also in how we interact with others. Life is a rhythm, a dance between showing up and retreating. Knowing when to step back preserves your energy and ensures that when you return, your impact is stronger. So how can you embrace this art of absence without losing your essence? Start small. Gradually reduce your constant accessibility. Stop responding to every message immediately or saying yes to every request. This isn't about being aloof or vengeful, it's about creating space for others to reflect on your importance. Establishing boundaries is key. Learn to say no when necessary, and don't feel guilty for prioritizing yourself. By doing so, you teach others to respect your time and energy. If you've always prioritized others' needs, it's time to put yourself first. This isn't selfish, it's self-preservation. When you value yourself, others will begin to value you too. Remember, absence doesn't mean disappearing entirely. It's about being selective, about letting your presence feel intentional and meaningful. The less you give freely, the more valuable your time and attention become. This doesn't just foster respect, it creates a sense of intrigue and appreciation. Instead of overexerting yourself trying to prove your worth, let your absence speak for itself. When you're not easily accessible, people naturally start to notice what they are missing. And if someone doesn't appreciate your value, take a step back with grace. Don't beg for recognition or lower yourself to gain their approval. Do it with stoic composure. Control what you can, like your time and energy, and let go of what's beyond your influence. Being valuable isn't about being omnipresent, it's about knowing when to step away so that your return is impactful. As Viktor Frankl wisely said, if people only value you when you're present, they'll never truly understand your worth. If this message resonates with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever practiced the art of absence? How did it change your relationships? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Your support inspires us to create more content that fosters personal growth and well-being. Thank you for being part of our community. See you in our next adventure. This is the wisdom of the ages, and we're here to inspire, uplift, and guide you on your journey. Subscribe, activate notifications, and let's grow together in wisdom and resilience.